just want to discuss about the very prominent mathematical expressions called the quadratic expressions. And since you all know that quadratic expressions played a very vital role, and its the general form takes the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, and it has got an equation called as ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. In this video, I will just tell you everything about quadratic equation. So friends, now you see this. This is the graph of a normal quadratic expression y equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. This one. So now I just go for and just try to see and explain you what is the quadratic equation and what does it mean. This is equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a and b are c all are real numbers, and a is not equal to 0. That is the standard form of a given quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is very important for those who are appearing for the IIT entrance examinations or into the international board, because this plays a great role in mathematical construct and its applicability. But what actually it is? So suppose I have a variable x which takes a value 3 and 4. So x equal to 3 and x equal to 4. So I just make them equation. X minus 3 is 0. This is one linear equation, and x minus 4 is 0. This is another linear equation. Now if I multiply them, then what I'll get? So it means this is a combined equation of these two linear equation. So if I combine them, this will become x square minus 7x plus 12 equal to 0. Now look at this form. Is it not the standard quadratic equation? So it is just a combination of two linear equations. So this is an equation with a polynomial of degree 2, and it has two linear equation. Now x is 3 and x is 4. So the two roots you can get. You might have studied in the class, lower classes like initial preliminaries 7, 8. So the teacher gives you to expand these algebraical expression, which says x plus a and x plus b. So it's a product of two binomial. X plus a is a binomial and x plus b is another binomial. Product of these two gives you the form of x square plus a plus bx plus ab, that is trinomial. So if I say that a is equal to b, so x plus a will become x plus b, or x plus b will become x plus a. So this will take the form of x plus a whole square, and this a plus a will become 2a. So it's x square plus 2ax plus a square. I hope you are enjoying this. Just keep on playing with the numbers. Now if I write a is minus a, so just like you can say, take it as a is replaced by minus a. So what will happen? This will become, simply if you say, become x square minus 2ax plus a square minus 2ax plus a square, because square of minus is also positive. Square of a negative number is always positive, or the negative number raised to the power even term is positive. So if I say it is x plus a and x minus a, so this, this becomes x square minus a square. This is called a difference of two squares. So this is also quadratic equation where you can see the middle term is missing, that is b, x square plus 0x minus a square. So the middle term is missing. But for a standard quadratic equation, the coefficient of x square should not be 0, because if that is 0, then x square vanishes. So that is a good equation. Now here I just take my discussion to the another level. Again I write ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a, b, c all are real numbers and a not equal to 0. So now you have understood that this equation is made up of two linear equations. So after solving these kind of equation, you will always get two values of x, and if you just take it as a polynomial, then you can call the zeros of the polynomial. So there will be two zeros for this polynomial. If you take it as an equation, then you can call it as two roots of the equation, and they are very beautiful mathematical construct. So now here I say that x plus a whole square. what I'm just trying to say that this is a trinomial and this is the standard x plus a whole square. Like if you multiply x plus a and x plus a, or x plus b, or x minus a, x minus b, or two binomial with this kind of forms, x plus a and x minus b, so this always gives a trinomial which is of the form x square plus 2x plus a square and x square minus 2x plus a square. This also gives you x square minus a square. If you just compare it with the standard equation, this looks that all these three somewhere close, or they are representing the identical patterns with some little manipulation in the coefficients. So this you can say that ax square plus c equal to 0 if b is 0. So look at the standard equation. If b is 0, what will happen? So x square plus c by a equals 0, and then x square equal to, if you are able to write c by a as square of some number, like the negative square kind of, you can say, because it can be written anything, because mathematically you might have played with the numbers. So suppose if c is written as c by a is written as plus minus alpha square, then this equation will become the x square plus minus alpha square. If it is plus alpha square, then this cannot be solved. This will take the form of a complex number, which is not we are discussing in this condition. So x square plus alpha square, this form is not solvable because square root of a negative number doesn't give you a real number. So this we take for a real scenario. This is an undefined term. But the x square minus alpha square can be written as x minus alpha, x plus alpha is 0, and then x can be alpha or minus alpha, and these two are the cases of two distinct roots, because alpha and minus alpha are two different values. One is positive, another negative. So this doesn't give you any real numbers. Negative of square root doesn't give you a real number. Then that is the beginning of a complex number, which is not the core concept or discussion of this video. This we may discuss in some other video. Now again, returning back to the basics. So x square plus bx plus c is 0. Now how to solve these kind of equations? Now you know that this equation can be broken down in the form of x plus alpha whole square, or x plus a whole square, x minus a whole square, or x square minus a square. These are three logical format where this may go. But when you are solving this equation, then what you need, how will you form? So one is called the method of perfect square. It is the method of perfect square is identical to the form that when you have a number like x square equal to 4, then x gives you plus minus 4. So x plus minus alpha whole square, this is a perfect binomial expression, and this gives you value x square plus minus 2 alpha x plus alpha square. So now I can also express this expression ax square plus bx plus c equals 0 in the standard perfect square, because this is going to take the form of x plus minus a or b whole square. So first I divide this equation by a so that the coefficient of x square becomes unity. Then I just try to express in 2ab form. So 2 dot b by 2 x, and then we need this square, so I just add and subtract b by 2 a whole square, that is b square by 4 square, and then b square by 4 square subtracted, so that the effect is nullified. There is no effect of this expression because I have added as well as subtracted. So first three terms will take the form of x plus b by 2 a whole square, and this will become, on the other side if you take it of the equal sign, then b square over 4a square minus c upon a. If you take the LCM, then this will become b square minus 4ac upon 4a square. So this is, now you just look at the expression, this has taken the form of x square equal to something. If that something is also a perfect square, then you have got your answer. So x plus b upon 2a equal to plus minus, because when you take the square root of any expression, this always gives you two values, plus and minus. So I write under root b square minus 4ac upon 4a square. Numerator is not a perfect square, so it will remain under root, but denominator is the square of 2a. So this becomes like this. Now everything depends on this term b square minus 4ac, which is under the square root, because if that is, like we know that the square root of 0 is 0 and square root of positive number gives you two values, positive and negative, but square root of a negative number never gives you any answer, because this is complex number, and real number solution is called undefined. So everything now depends on the term b square minus 4ac, and that will decide the nature of these roots, and this is called as discriminant, represented by capital D or by delta big triangle. So this equation have the solution only if b square minus 4ac is greater than or equal to 0. So that is called the discriminant, written as D discriminant, and that decides the nature of the quadratic equation. So now D is b square minus 4ac, and any real number can be either 0, more than 0, or less than 0. So if it is 0, then that will give you the two real numbers same, and two real numbers and which are identical. This is the case of equal roots. If it is yes, so this b square minus 4ac will decide the fate of this equation, and that is under root of d. So if it is a positive number, now square root of d is saying that either if it is greater than or equal to 0, it is possible, and if it is less than 0, it's you will not get any answer for this. If it is possible, then the two scenarios are there, whether it's either equal to 0 or it can be greater than 0. Yes, and that is the not possible thing is the part of d less than 0, and that is called as discriminant. This decides the nature of the roots, and when discriminant is less than 0, we say it has no real solution. We do not say it has no solution, because it has solution of two complex numbers, but that is not the part of our analysis. We are trying to keep our solutions into the domain of the real numbers. So under root of a negative number gives no real number, that's why we say no solution possible. And then if it is equal to 0, then root part vanishes, becomes x is minus b by 2a, and this other root, that is also minus b upon 2a, and that is the case of the equal roots. And now here I just take the discussion back to the core concept, that x equal to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac, if it is possible. Now we are coming in the domain of possibilities. If it is possible, then it will give you two values, because plus minus under root 2, first I'll take the plus value, so minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, and then another one is x2, which is minus b minus under root b square minus 4ac. So these are possibilities. We are assuming that the square root of b square minus 4ac will give you a number greater than 0. So these two are called the roots of the quadratic equations, x1 and x2. Some authors in the Indian textbooks, they call it alpha and beta, because they find it very lucrative to express the roots as alpha and beta. We can also write, there is no problem with that. Now the question is that just we're trying to break down this, because if you see the terms, they have got some identical terms, both have same denominator, and numerator looks like it is the something plus something, means a plus b and a minus b form. Two identical things, one is added, other is subtracted. So now here I express these as the alpha beta, and now I just try to find what will be the possible sum of alpha plus beta, because I see some cancellation. Plus under root b square minus 4ac will cancel the minus under root b square minus 4ac, so alpha plus beta will become minus 2, these two cancel, and then become minus 2b over 2a, that is minus b upon a. And now if you multiply, then the denominator becomes 4a square, and the numerator, if you see, it just simply looks like it is a plus b and a minus b, their product will give you a square minus b square. So I break down in the form of a plus b and a minus b, so that you can understand a square minus b square. So this becomes b square over 4a square. So b square over 4a square plus b square over by 2a whole square. So now this will become b square over 4a square minus b square over 4a square plus 4ac over 4a square. I have separated the denominators, I have skipped one step, and then I find these two are taking the form of c by a. So you got the alpha plus beta as minus b by a and the alpha beta as c by a. Now just look at the basic equation. What was initially when you have ax square plus bx plus c is 0 divided by a. So this gives you the form of x square plus b by ax plus c by a. So if you just try to make these two terms b by a and c by a meaningful, so you can write it as x square minus and then minus b by a x plus c by a, and minus b by a is alpha plus beta sum of the roots and the c by a is the product of roots. So this equation can be written as x square minus sum of roots x plus alpha beta. So now just by looking at this theme, you can say any quadratic equation can be expressed as x square minus sum of roots x plus product of roots equal to 0, and this way you can find the value of alpha plus beta and alpha beta, and after just solving them simultaneously you can find the value of alpha and beta. This is also another way of finding, and just I'm trying to find out the solution of this equation. How will you find the solutions? Now you know that you can find by using method of square, and then since you know this is called the middle term splitting, this is called the formula method, and then you have the method of factorization. So the method of factorization is called the splitting the middle term. Like if you are able to split the product of the coefficient of x square and constant terms into the two numbers such that their sum on difference are equal to the coefficient of the middle term, that is called the middle term splitting. Now here I take one more example just to understand. Like suppose if I just take 3x minus 2 and 3x plus 5 equal to 0, just to take it as a product of two binomial expression, I let a equal to 3x, so this will become a minus 2 and a plus b. So this will become x square means a square. Now this is 2 and minus 5. If you just find the solution of, so either a is 0 or, so you can have the possible values like a is 2 or a is minus 5. So you can say 3x equal to 2 and the 3x equal to minus 5. Now this is the standard form. Any quadratic equation can be expressed in the form of the x square minus sum of roots x plus product equal to 0. So if you just try to compare and try to find out what do they represent, so this becomes a square plus 3a minus 10 equals 0. So now you can find alpha plus beta equals to, if you just express this also fine, because a equal to 3x to 9x square plus 3 into 3 9x minus 10. So if you compare them here, then now see this is called the 9x square plus 9x minus 10, and the way of solving, first you have to find the product of the coefficient of x square and the constant term, and that is 10 and 9, so this will become 90. So the product of this coefficient of x square and the constant term, just to find the product of these two, so you get 90. Now you have to find the all possible pairs, means the two numbers which multiply to give you 90. You can say the two factors of 90. So 190 can be one combination, 245 can be another one, 330 can be the next one, then you can have the 4 is not there, 518s are 90, 518, then you have 6 and 15. Out of so many pairs you have to select one pair whose sum or difference can give you the coefficient of middle term, which is 9. So I'll go for 15 and 6. No, this one 15 and 6. So 15 minus 6 is 9. So at the place of 9 I can write it that 15 minus 6. So this will become 9x square plus 15x minus 6x minus 10 equal to 0. Then by grouping the first two terms, and then the first and second term here I'll take common 3x, so it's 3x plus 5, and then from last two I'll take the minus 2 common, so this gives you 3x plus 5 equals 0. So I take 3x plus 5 further common. So now you see that I made this equation by multiplying 3x minus 2 and 3x plus 5 and here again. But in this condition, when you find that 3x plus 5, 3x plus underline these underlying things, if they are same, then only you're right. If you find they are not same, then again you have to pick another set of the factors from this given tree diagram. So 3x plus 5 and the 3x minus 2 equals 0. So this, either this is 0 or that is 0. So because when you have product of two real numbers 0, then either A is 0, B non-zero, or B is 0 and A is non-zero, because you cannot take the situation that 0 into 0 equals 0, because if you accept this, you are also indirectly accepting 0 divided by 0 equals to 0, and which is against the basic rule of mathematics, because we assume that the division by 0 is undefined. So you also have to avoid 0 into 0 equal to 0 scenario. So now this is called the method of factorization. This way you can factorize any quadratic equation. And then the formula method, you have already seen that you have to compare the coefficient of the equations that you can find a, b, c, and then using formula x equal to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, you can find this. And the method of square is also indirectly related to the formula method. So if you just compare this 9x this with the standard equation, which is, now here I have just divided these two. So now again I'm trying to break this down, because people avoid this method because they find better to use formula. So I have divided both equations, both sides of this equation by 9, so become x square plus x, and then I have written, just express this in the 2ab form. So I get x plus half whole square, and then I'm getting this as 49 over 36. So x plus half will become plus minus 7 upon 6. So this way also you can find the solution, x equal to plus minus minus half. Yes, so first you take the plus and then find, again this will find. So this is also indirectly related to this is, and by formula method you just directly use finding the compare and find the equation, and minus b plus minus, and this way you can find. So this is how you can solve the equation in these three ways. But what do they actually represent? Because if you say they are the expressions, whether they are just expressions or whether they are a function, do they represent the, now we'll discuss this, what is the graphical nature and the graphical theme of this equation. So if you just write, if you just take ax square plus bx plus c as the quadratic expression, not as equation, and that is represented as a function of y, you can also take it as fx. So what do they actually represent? So these three parameters a, b and c. So first I take a common, then this one can become x square. So yes, so means if you take a common, means coefficient of x square becomes unity, then the remaining term can be expressed as a perfect square plus minus some adjustment factor that is called beta. So now this is the y equal to x square, this is the parabola, upward parabola, this is the form of standard parabola, y equal to x square. Now just look at this equation. If this is y equal to x square, now if I have the y equal to 5x square or kx square, then k can be either 5 or k can be 1 by 5. So if you just multiply it by a bigger number, then the equation, the spanning on opening of the graph squeezes, and this becomes a more exquisite equation which is closer spanning. But if you multiply it by a number less, now back to the graph, there you can understand better on the blackboard or whiteboard. So here I just try to write the normal equation, which is y equal to x square. Now look at the spanning, this is the standard form of the equation. And now look at the values of y. It says starting from 0 it goes to infinity. So the value of y is, minimum value is 0 and the maximum value is infinity. And the domain of this function is from minus infinity to plus infinity. But we are not discussing domain. I'm just trying to say you that it goes from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now make it centralized. Here I just take one more explanation on this whiteboard. And I say that if I have an equation which is, yes, 2x square plus 5x plus 7, and then I take 2 common, become x square plus 5 by 2x plus 7. I'm just trying to explain you that how this whole quadratic equation can be represented in standard form, which will be helpful to transform it. So now, so this is 2 common, so x square plus 5x by 2. Now y will become 2 times x plus 5 by 4, or x square plus 2 into 5 by 4x plus 25 by 4, or 25 by 16, 25 by 16 minus 25 by 16, just to remove this effect. And then y will become 2, and this is x plus 5 by 4 whole square. First 3 terms is a square plus 2ab plus b square, so x plus 5 over 4 whole square. And then if you add these last 2 terms, which is 7 by 2 and minus 25 by 16, 7 by 2 you can write as 8 7s are 56, 56 by 16 minus 25 by 16. So 25, 25, 50 and 26 extra is called the 31 by 16. So this will become under root 3 by 4 whole, under 31 by 4 whole square. So this is 31 by 16, which can be written as under root, if you express it in the square form only then, but if you don't want, then you can write 2 times this plus 2 times this will become 31 by 8, because 2 from the coefficient term is coming and making this one. Now this becomes transformation, means x square form multiplied by 2 and added by 31 by 8. So now we are again returning back to the graph, and then there you see that how this can be plotted. Welcome friends, on the graph paper now you see the y equal to x square, this standard quadratic equation is parabolic in nature, and its vertex is at 0 0, and the y-axis is the axis of symmetry. So this is y equal to x square graph. Now if I add plus something, then graph will go upward, so plus 2 and it goes to 0 comma 2. Now if I add minus 2, it will go down to 0 comma minus 2. Now if I just multiply this graph, the coefficient of x square, make it as a positive number 12, then the graph squeezes, the span of the graph comes closer, like the, when you make it a 0.12 means a number between 0 and 1 in the fractional form, so it will just spreads at the same point, the shape only changes. Now if I write x minus something or minus 2 whole square, then now you shift, it just shifts on the right side, like at point 2 comma 0, so the vertex goes to 2 comma 0, and then x equal to 2 will become line of symmetry. And then if you add something, then the graph will go up, if you subtract, then it will go down. So if I make it plus 2 whole square, then it will move towards minus 2 comma 0. Then if I add plus 3, then it will go up to, and the vertex goes to the coordinate minus 2 comma 3. Then if I make it minus 3, it will go down, become minus 2 comma 3, and the graph cuts x-axis at 2 points. So this is the case of 2 solution. Now plus 3, and then the graph goes upward and it goes at the minus 2 comma 3, and now it doesn't cut the x-axis, so it has no solution. Again, if you multiply it by minus, then just flip from the very same point, and then again it cuts the graph at 2 distinct points. This is the 2 unique solution. Minus 4, so it will squeeze further at the same point. If you make it minus 0.4, then it will remain at same point and become flat end. So I remove all this. Now this is x plus 2 whole square plus 3, so the vertex is at minus 2 comma 3. Now this becomes minus 2 comma minus 3, the vertex has gone to minus 2 comma minus 3, and x equal to minus 2 is line of symmetry. If you make it minus, it will flip and the graph doesn't cut the x-axis, so this is called a case of no solution. Means a quadratic equation with no solution will have this form. Thank you very much.